Her name's Wogan. James Wogan. Like every other middle-aged male fantasist, I wanted to be 007 for years. The girls, the casinos, the girls, the gadgets, the girls, the champagne, the girls. Unfortunately, Cubby Broccoli had other ideas. And he's picked the likes of Connery, Moore, and Dalton. I shall put his foolishness forcefully to old Cubs himself tonight as a new Bond epic, License to Kill, hits the screens. And there's the delicious Talisa Soto, who plays Lupe. That's spelled L-U-P-E, L'Amour. And as nasty a piece of work as has ever tried to reduce Bond to rubble, Robert Davi as the arch-villain Sanchez. And of course, shaken but not stirred, 007 himself in the guise of Timothy Dalton.
You have an assignment, and I expect you to carry it out objectively and professionally.
Then you have my resignation, sir.
We're not a country club, 007. Effective immediately. Your license to kill is revoked.
Looks like he might not make it. Still available, Cubby. I don't know about you, but mayhem and bimbos apart, one of the high spots of every Bond movie is when old Q comes out of the woodwork with the latest lethal gadgetry.
Having problems keeping it up, Q? Smashing, Q.
Take a fountain pen. Twist the top. And a highly concentrated mixture of nitric and hydrochloric acid. Dissolves all metals. This is now being issued as standard equipment. Strap it on your wrist. It's activated by nerve impulses from the wrist muscles.
Like this?
Welcome, Q himself, Desmond Llewellyn. Desmond, first, after all these years, what does Q stand for? What does it mean?
Quartermaster.
Ah, as simple as that.
As simple as that.
I see, and how did it come about that? I mean, what do you know about the background to it?
Well, in Dr. No, Major Boothroyd, who is a real character, Geoffrey Boothroyd, who'd written to Ian Fleming years ago and said he liked everything about James Bond except his deplorable taste in weapons.
Yeah.
And that a Beretta was a lady's gun, and not a very nice lady at that. So in Dr. No, we see Major Boothroyd giving James Bond the Walther PPK instead of the Beretta. Well, when it came to Russia with Love, luckily for me, that actor wasn't available, and I played Major Boothroyd.
And you've been doing it ever since?
And I've been doing it ever since.
Oh, well done. But what, you've brought the bag of goodies, as you normally do turn up in every James Bond movie with a briefcase full of
Here's the briefcase
unspeakable effects. Let's have a look.
With all the things.
Yes, what's in there?
Well, this is the underwater camera from Thunderball. In those days, there was no such thing as a small underwater camera.
Yeah.
And so they said, we must try and find one. And somebody said, why not get onto Nikon? And so they wrote to Nikon and said, have you such a thing as a small underwater camera? And they said, well, we're working on it. And they said, well, we'd like to use it in a Bond film. Of course, being the Japs, it came back by return of post.
Wonderful. And it actually works?
It actually works, but the one you have today is the Nokomis.
Ah, yeah. Now, what else?
Now, this is, of course, the briefcase from Russia with Love.
Do they let you keep these things? I mean...
Well, no. I had this for demonstrating what I'm doing to you now.
You nicked them, do you?
I nicked them, yes.
I mean, yeah.
I haven't nicked... There are a lot of things. The Fabergé egg from... I wasn't allowed to keep that, and I've not been able to nick it either.
What a shame. What a shame. What else, then, have we
done? There's his Walther PPK.
My goodness. It's a man's gun, that, Desmond.
Ah, it is.
I feel at home with
Well, here's another one.
What's that?
That's the Piton gun.
What is that?
You see, it really, all these gadgets work. Yeah. Now, the Piton gun is just an ordinary mountaineer's pistol.
Yeah.
And in Diamonds Are Forever, Bond went up the side of the house. And in the old days, you used to bang your pitons in.
Yeah.
Now you just fire them in.
Yeah.
And there you are.
And they all work. That's the great
Everything
thing.
works.
What's this? Is there a ring?
Except this.
Yeah, what's that?
If I can find it.
That thing
Oh.
that... Yeah, what's
That was the ring that I used in Diamonds Forever to win all the money from the fruit machines.
That's right. There's a scene where you're standing by the fruit machines
And
you use
all
it, and
the money comes out.
Yeah. And
But when
does
I-
that work?
It didn't. And when I
What a shame.
and when I'd finished, my pockets were full of money.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, do I just walk out? And I said, no. I'll put it all back into one machine. And I didn't get a sausage.
What's this? What's this? This is from License to Kill, isn't it? Now,
Yeah.
this. Hang on, I'll get a couple of the
Now,
audience.
put it down, be careful. God
I
knows
just thought it
what
was an
he would do.
opportunity to get my own back, Desmond.
Ah, well.
Yeah.
Well, I can't... I don't really know whether this works or not. It's a signature gun,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
Now, let me do a bit of demonstration.
Well,
now,
would you mind
pay,
pointing it somewhere else?
Pay attention.
Oh,
Wilkie.
sorry, sir.
Right. Pay
Okay,
attention.
all right, Q.
Now, I want no interruptions and no quips at the audience. Just listen to what I have to say, and if you give me your undivided attention, I won't keep you here long. Right. Now,
No wonder Bond can't stand him. Right.
what do you mean, can't stand?
Sorry, Q.
Now, that's right.
Yeah.
The idea is, I believe, that if you put your fingers round there,
Yeah.
there's some sort of impression, and
Oh, I see.
then...
It goes green. There's little green lights going off. What
Is
does that
it?
mean? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, once you've fired it, nobody else can fire it.
I see.
And in the modern, in License to Kill, Bond uses that, and it is lying down, and of course somebody tries to shoot him, and of course it won't work.
Brilliant. Hey, I'll just get Terry Gray, who's the floor manager. I've been wanting to get rid of him for some time. This is terrific, isn't it?
It is.
Look
It's
at
great
it. Do you
fun.
think there's a possibility something like that would be invented?
Well, of course I don't know. You see, all these gadgets, as I say, work. I've got to find out whether this does work.
Yeah. No, I mean, you've been tremendously loyal to James Bond. I mean, how can you stand? I mean, he gets all the girls and all the rest of it. I mean, you get Miss Moneypenny.
I don't mind the modern Miss Moneypenny.
She's you didn't fancy the old one much, didn't you? No.
Oh, she was all right.
Yeah.
But she was
Bit
about,
old for
you
you.
know, the same as me. You
No,
know,
steady,
I
yeah.
like them younger.
Yeah. May your shadow never diminish. It's a great pleasure
Thank
to
you.
meet you. Desmond
Thank you very
Llewellyn.
much.
Q. Calm yourselves. The latest Bond lovely, Talisa Soto, the producer, Albert Cubby Broccoli, and the good commander himself, Timothy Dalton, will be with us within the hour. Bond villains have always matched 007 blow for blow until the final reel. Who can forget the incarnate evil of Goldfinger, Blofeld, Scaramanga, Drax? There's another maestro of menace in License to Kill, a drug overlord, Sanchez. Cross him at your peril.
You think I'm stupid? Huh? You rip me off, then use my own money to pay someone to kill me? You want it so bad. And take it!
What are you doing? Wait, let me talk to me. It's not my money! Oh. What the?
It gets worse. I won't tell you how that scene ends, but it's very messy. Welcome, Robert Davi. Well, we got a lot of Bond fans in the audience. And I must say, I've been privileged to see the movie. You're a fairly chilling villain in it. I mean, did you model yourself on any of the previous legendary Bond villains?
No, I kind of modeled myself after the current wave of the Medellin cartel drug lords that you find in Colombia. The Ochoas, the Escobars, a little bit of Noriega. these are some of the most dangerous men in the world today.
Oh, certainly, and within their purlieus, the most powerful. But how can you... It's all very well saying you model yourself on a Colombian drug overlord, but they're not all that accessible. I mean...
Well, you can phone them up once or twice. They're in the yellow pages.
Yeah.
They have drug lords under the, you know...
Who gave you the tips on how they were, what kind of people they were?
Well, I guess living in Los Angeles, you can... There's an underground, I guess, in any area you live in life, and I put the word out to some friends of mine that I wanted to meet with someone that may know this world or had involvings in it, and also with drug agents that I had talked to. They put me in touch with some people that they had this thing on.
So what kind of a guy is Sanchez? Because it seems from watching it...
Can I just interject for a second?
Of course.
You know, I thought you would make a terrific Bond, but I had one comment.
It's not critical, is it?
No, not really. I just feel that you should change your tie.
What?
I think this would be a lot more Bond-like.
I'll put your point to Cubby, but frankly, you know, I think that's been what's been wrong with the Bond movies for several years now, is that the bow ties haven't been colorful enough.
Yeah, up to date.
If I have a criticism, that's what's been wrong. So what kind of a character is the Sanchez? Because watching him, he's younger than the usual Bond villain, isn't he? And slightly more, I thought, realistic.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope a lot more realistic. Like I said, when I was doing the research for the character, looking through different DEA files and different documentaries, they kept making reference to the experiences in the files that it seems like it comes out of a James Bond film.
Yeah.
And here I am reading the script, and it's like out of the reality. So it's very real, very frightening in that it's so real.
Yeah. What about, how'd you get on with Tim Dalton during the film?
Well, I guess the best way to describe that is on our first meeting. There was a meeting up in Cubby's office in Los Angeles, and with John Glen and Michael Wilson. What had happened was they said, meet us for lunch and discuss the character. And I didn't know that Timothy was going to be at this particular meeting. He knew I was going to be there, but I didn't know he was. So I walk into the room, and they say, Robert, this is Timothy Dalton. And of course, now I'm face to face with James Bond. And I think we both already started working on the characters ourselves, and we kind of looked into each other's eyes for what seemed like an eternity. In reality, it was 2 minutes. But we just stared at each other.
And then you kissed?
And then we kissed. We kissed, we made up, and they rewrote the script.
What a friendship.
But it was a very interesting first meeting, and then we eventually did warm up to each other, and I think Cubby and Michael Wilson were a little nervous. They might have to recast. It wouldn't be Bond, it would be me.
Yeah.
But it went on great. We started drinking tequila together, and we had a lot of fun during filming.
It's not work, is it, really?
Oh, it is. It is very serious. But I mean, there are times when you have to just relax out of you're shooting a film like this for 6 months. You have to kind of let your hair down and...
Yeah. What were conditions like for you with shooting? We were in Mexico and Acapulco, places like that. Good? We always think it's wonderful. I've never been there. Is it great?
Well, it is beautiful. I mean, I had a few bad experiences. I mean, I'm unfortunately...
Nothing personal. We don't want to hear about things until after the 9 o'clock watershed.
No, but what happens is, you know, you'll see on the screen we're being very cool and cordial to each other in one particular scene in Acapulco. And I think I had a slight temperature and the weather was so humid and hot. I mean, I sweat a lot, and what can I tell you, in that kind of humidity? I mean, I should have sunglasses with a gutter on the frame, catch the drippings. So it's kind of, you know, not all fun and games.
No. Now, you had a scene in the beginning where you're, I better not say too much without giving the plot away, but anyway, you're underwater and you're handcuffed, and you're locked in. Mm-hmm. Did you use a stand-in for that? How do you do a thing like that?
Well, on that particular thing, that was, I guess, the most frightening stunt that I had ever done in a film, because we did it at the soundstage, which this armored car is submerged in water, but I'm handcuffed to this armored car, totally submerged in water, trying to gasp my last breath, and waiting for these scuba guys to come in to help me with the... And unfortunately, that day, the water was like 35 degrees below zero or something, so I'm trying to not breathe underwater, and I'm shivering like this. I was waiting for this scuba guy to come in and give me the mouthpiece, and that was...
It'd be nice to get the girl in the end, wouldn't it?
Yeah, without having to put a gun to her head.
Yeah. Robert, I know you're going to stay with us. Congratulations on the movie.
Thank
stay
you.
with us. Robert Davi. Robert wants to stay, and I'm not going to argue with him. Of course, one of the great attractions of the Bond movies over the years have been the ladies, bless them, who can easily forget Honey Child Rider, Solitaire, Mary Goodnight, and now there's Loopy L'Amour.
James, don't go. I'm scared. What's gonna happen to us?
Don't worry. When this is all over, I'll make sure you get back home.
Home? It took me 15 years to get away from there. I don't want to go back. Can't we leave together? I want to be safe with you.
No, Loopy. I don't think that would work out.
How can we tell unless we try? I think it's gonna work out very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Talisa Soto. Talisa, of course, the ladies in Bond movies have always been traditionally extraordinarily glamorous. It's a tough tradition to kind of follow, isn't it? Is it hard to sustain the matchless glamour over a 5-month filming in very humid conditions?
Yes, it is difficult, but we give a lot of credit to the makeup artists and hairdressers. They keep us in shape.
Yeah, you didn't sweat as much as
No.
as old Sanchez there. No. Yeah. Well, what's Loopy L'Amour like, then? You have to understand that in Britain, Loopy means, well, maybe same in America, it means you're not the full shilling. But I mean, I know it's a Spanish name, Lupe. Loopy L'Amour. So what's she like? How does she differ?
Well, she's different because she... It's not like the Bond girls in the past that James Bond would have his way with her. You know, she uses him as much as he uses her, you know.
She's a rascal, isn't she?
She's a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing of you has crept into the role, of course, is not?
No, nothing.
No. Yeah. You make a play for Bond, but I don't want to ruin too much, but in the end, you don't get him. I mean, it's pretty devastating for old Lupe, is it?
Well, if you watch closely, you'll see a shrug of the shoulders and say, well, you're lost.
Yeah. Yeah, because she gets the money in the end anyway, doesn't she?
Exactly,
Yeah.
the house, the works.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanchez.
Bond, of course, is sophisticated, but I mean, he's been accused of being slightly sexist, and he is. There's a touch of the chauvinist there over the years, as far as women are concerned. Is that your type of fella? That your type of guy?
Well, let's just say if a fella came up to me and said, make me a martini, shaken, not stirred, I'll say, make it yourself.
You're not my kind of girl. I'm sorry. We'll share a glass, and that'll be the end. Okay. What about Robert? There was a scene where you're sharing scenes with him and an iguana. Who did you get on with best?
Tough question.
Yeah.
No, of course.
The iguana.
I dreaded that thing, I tell you.
Yeah, that wasn't easy. Working with an iguana, never work with animals and children, of course. But how did you, I mean, you had the iguana there all the time, on the shoulder.
I kind of enjoyed the iguana. I mean, the iguana was very, it took a liking to me immediately.
Yeah.
I mean...
It was a permanent attachment here.
I mean, I think one time you went to pick it up and it scratched the hell out of me.
Yes, it sure did.
I mean, the one fearful thing about the iguana is, which I remember, is I would be doing a scene and I'd have the iguana here and worried that it was going to scutter about or do something. And John Glen was behind the camera, as your camera guys are, and he's watching the scene going on, and he's saying, that's lovely, all right, come in tighter on that, it looks great, oh, I love it, it's fantastic, okay, that's it, that's what I want, okay, all right, action, print, cut, great, it was terrific, and he'd come over, And I'm thinking, you know, he'd come and look at the iguana, and he'd say, geez, what a terrific little thing, I love it. He says, Alec, do you think we could give a little key light to the iguana here? And he'd do this take after take, and here I'm playing this drug lord who wants all the attention. And the iguana,
Yeah. You'll never work with him again.
No. Well, I had it stuffed, and now it's in Los Angeles.
That's an awful thing to do to yourself. Talisa, it's not your first movie, it's your second movie.
Right.
Do you think this one will be hopefully, the takeoff for you? Takeoff point in an acting career?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, it'll be great, especially because it's international.
Yeah. I think an awful lot of people, particularly ladies, will know you from the covers of all the great magazines. You've been a tremendously successful model for a couple of years now. Does this mean the end of the modeling career?
Well, it has been, actually. It's been sort of 2 years I haven't.
You've packed it in?
Yeah.
What are you doing for a crust now? How do you make a living?
Well, I've been really busy doing publicity and for this film, and I'll be starting a new film in September.
Yeah.
I'm open for anything.
Good.
I did a mistake there.
No. We won't. You trained as an opera singer, didn't you, Robert?
Yes, yeah.
A pleasing baritone.
Lyric baritone.
A lyric
What's
baritone?
pleasing baritone?
The same thing.
Oh. Sorry, I'm not used to...
Yeah. Do you sing at all now, or just in the bath?
No, I sing out of the bath.
Do you?
Yeah, depending on my mood and how much tequila or vodka or something like that I prefer.
We could, if you sang, we could do the duet from Rigoletto, but I suppose no point now, because you don't know the part.
If she sang, maybe next time.
Next time, come on. Do you enjoy being part of the Bond family? Was it a bit nerve-wracking to be in a Bond movie, almost second part you played?
I was a little nervous, but I sort of arrived without putting any expectations, just taking day as it, every day as it comes. And the Bond family, they're wonderful. They're wonderful, as I'm sure all you know.
Everybody says that, but I'm sure you all hated each other.
Yeah.
No. They create a very warm atmosphere. I mean, it starts with Cubby, who's the patriarch, and Dana's wife, and leads down to Barbara and Michael Wilson.
There must have been somebody that you didn't like, Timothy, I bet.
No.
You didn't?
I like
Aha.
him. I liked him.
You all got on okay. I hate that.
Well, there was no. I mean, there was one actor I had a little altercation with. I mean, but that just happens in any creative environment.
Of course, I'm glad I wasn't the actor in question, because you're a big devil. Anyway, thank you both very much. Thank you, Talisa. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your stage. Cubby Broccoli, who's been producing Bond since the dawn of time, and Bond himself, Timothy Dalton. They're going to be with us shortly, but I know you're all ears for the latest Bond theme music. They've been done by the best, by Bassie, Lulu, McCartney, Duran Duran, and this one's no exception. License to Kill, from Gladys Knight. License to Kill. Our listeners to my old Radio 2 show will know only too well how hard I tried for the James Bond role for many years. I begged, pleaded, I offered to pay. Zippo, Connery, Moore, Lazenby, Dalton. Lesser men all. Why was I overlooked? Why were you overlooked? You'd have done it for nothing as well, wouldn't you? It was good to have a chance to name the guilty man. Producer of every Bond movie since Dr. No in 1833. Albert Cubby Broccoli. Well, at last. Why didn't I get the role?
Well, for a start...
Don't get personal. I don't want any don't start in about the bow tie.
Tie, you wouldn't wear the tie. It wouldn't go.
Well, a man has his pride. An actor has to make a stand somewhere.
Yes.
I know. But there was a lot of ill feeling, Cubby.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, there was. I hated not being picked.
Well, you were a little bit late in coming forth, you know.
Yeah?
Never gave me a hint.
I had everything. I had your youth on my side and everything.
Well, there were a few little... Sort of a little...
Oh, get out of here. That's character building.
I have the same trouble.
Oh, listen. Just to show you there's no ill feeling. Cubby, do you take a drink at all?
I do.
Oh, bless you. There'll be much in this little ginger ale. What makes a good James Bond?
A good James Bond, we've had several of them.
Yeah.
I think you can take right from, thank you, from Sean, Roger, and our present Timothy. And that would give you a very good example of what a good Bond is.
Yeah, they're all different, aren't they?
Well,
it's just a bit difficult sometimes when, as Tim has done, has taken over.
Yes.
You know, the public take maybe a Bond or two to get used to them, don't they?
That's true, but Timothy took to it like a duck takes to water.
Yeah.
And he was right there when we wanted him, and he was exciting, gave us all of the Bond strength that we need.
Who are your favorite villains? Who'd you like? I mean, the old villains are terribly important, aren't they?
Yes. Well, Goldfinger was a good villain with Gerd Frobe.
That's right. That was my favorite Bond movie, Goldfinger, I think.
Was it? Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Then we had cheers.
Cheers.
Don't mind us.
Have you finished your drink already? We poured one out for you earlier, you know.
We had some very excellent villains.
Yeah.
At the moment, this is the 16th.
Sanchez.
Yes, Sanchez. Well, he's superb.
Yeah.
When you see him in the film, he's the caliber of the kind of Bond that we need.
All but two of the Bond movies have been made in Britain.
Yes.
This one isn't, or hasn't been.
This wasn't made. This was made in Mexico.
Why did you decide not to do?
Well,
not to keep us
there
in
was a monetary
dollars?
problem. You know, the
exchange rate.
Exchange rate was one of the problems.
Yeah.
And we needed the scenery of Mexico, and that type of scenery, and it was exciting to be there. We had a few little hiccups there that weren't very good. I was laid up in the hospital for working in the altitude. But outside of that, it all went very well.
Are you still as enthusiastic about making them as ever?
Yes, I'm enthusiastic about it. I'm 80 years old, and I'm still enthusiastic about making Bond. Bond will go on forever.
What about this one? This one's got a 15 certificate.
Yeah, well...
You can't be happy about that.
Not very happy about that, but that was the choice of the censor. We didn't agree with them, but there you are. He calls the shots.
Are you happy with it anyway? You
Delighted.
happy with the movie?
I'm very delighted about it. Well, I wouldn't say, you know.
You know.
But I am really, truly delighted.
I don't expect you to tell me it's a rotten movie, no.
No, it's a good movie, and you'll enjoy it.
Good.
And the public will enjoy it. I wouldn't sell it to the public if I didn't believe in it.
Well, you've given good value for money in the past.
I hope so.
And you will again. Thank you. Cubby Broccoli.
Change the
Well, we're all together here like Brown's cows on the settee, and it's a good job there's only one person to come because there isn't enough room. So, if you three will stay, please. We couldn't do a James Bond special without the august and menacing presence of the Superman commander himself. Now, this man took over the role in 1986 for The Living Daylights and carries his Beretta into License to Kill, and as usual, it's no picnic. Commander James Bond, as played by that fine actor, Timothy Dalton. Well, it looks very dangerous, Timothy. I mean, did you get involved? I was asking Robert this earlier. Did you get involved in much of the stunts yourself?
I like to get involved in everything, yeah.
Yeah.
That sequence you've just shown, I had to learn to scuba dive for.
Well, that's great, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that, that the audience identify with Bond.
Of course. Yeah.
And if they can see that he's there, then they will.
Yeah. What about... You look
Jesus Christ, I'm terrified.
You're James Bond. You can't be. Well, you're Timothy
Well, I'm
Dalton.
not at the moment.
And you can't
Cheers.
be. I know, it's funny, isn't it? No matter how experienced people are, they come and they sit in the city and they get a bit nervous. But there's no reason for it. I mean, you look perfect for the part. You are perfect in the part. But you turned it down twice.
Well, I was asked if I'd be interested twice, which isn't quite the same thing as having an offer. The first time was many years ago when Sean gave up the part. And I thought he was terrific. He was splendid. I'd seen Sean Connery in my local cinema back home as a kid. I'd sneaked in. I was underage. There were 16-year-old films then. And I thought he was great. I couldn't take over.
Was that Dr. No, the first one that you were talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, and that's kind of intimidating, isn't it? When you have a mental picture yourself of an actor in the role, and then you're asked to take it over. When you did decide or agree to take it over, did it affect you? Did those considerations, or did you allow them to affect you?
Well, I was luckier, I think. There'd been 3 people played the part before. And Cubby and I met in the Dorchester, I think it was, one day, and I said that if I was to do it, I'd love to try and take the movies back to being action-adventure thrillers for adults that kids could enjoy, but nevertheless something like those early movies and the Ian Fleming books. And Cubby was wholeheartedly behind that. I think your favorite was From Russia with Love, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Great train sequence with Robert Shaw and Sean Connery.
Yes, I remember it.
And so I said, yeah, but...
This time
well,
I said yes.
Yes, I guess there are problems. I mean, you know going in that half the world loves Roger Moore and half the world loves Sean Connery. So, you know that whatever you do, you might end up with everybody in the world hating you. Yeah. But you've got to try and make it your own and go for what you believe in. And
so that's how you decide on your own interpretation. What did you do to work out your own interpretation of the part?
Well, all I could do was... I mean, I couldn't copy anybody, and I couldn't, you know, create a part out of the ether. I just went back to the books. The books were what started it all. They gave rise to the first films, and Ian Fleming had created that character, so I studied the books and tried to bring that Bond into the scripts that Michael Wilson and Richard Maibaum had written.
Well, without being over-analytical, becoming too deep about it, how do you see Bond? What sort of a person is Bond, then?
Well, it's interesting. Cubby's wife, Dana Broccoli, was down in the basement of the office the other day and pulled out some old cartons full of, old dusty papers. And among them were some unseen Fleming notes. He described Bond as a blunt instrument of government, as a man who is dangerous, ruthless, morbid, relentless, tenacious, a man who would sometimes, determined to get on with his job, but who would sometimes, if he saw a woman who was in danger, he would sometimes rescue her, but then again, sometimes he wouldn't.
Now, you actually trained as a classical actor.
Yeah.
I know, actually, Robert did as well, as well as being a singer. Do you think playing Bond is good or bad for that? I mean, is that...
Oh, it's been terrific.
It's not counterproductive for your career?
No. It's been terrific because last year, in between the two Bond movies, I did a play in the West End of London, a Eugene O'Neill play called A Touch of the Poet with Vanessa, who you've interviewed here. In fact, we interviewed her when we were doing Taming of the Shrew together. And we always got people at the stage door who came and said, I've never been to the theatre before. I only came because you were James Bond, but didn't expect to see this sort of grey-haired, paunchy drunkard on the stage, and said they loved it, and they were going to come to the theatre again. So it helps to fill the theatre, it brings people, it doesn't help at all. It's no hindrance whatsoever.
And of course, you've made a couple of mini-series, and I know you made a movie, because I wanted to ask you about the movie in Hollywood with Mae West. Now, it wasn't a great movie. What was it like working with Mae West?
It's more of a museum piece, Terry. You're going to embarrass me now.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. I mean, she was very old. And I think if you keep that in context, she was vain enough to lie about her age. She said she was 84. They knew she was 87, and people that really knew said she was 91. So within that context, you are dealing with a lady who day by day got stronger and stronger, always had the funniest lines. When everyone else was sitting around a set trying to work them out, she was fine.
I know you're one of those involved, and I'm sure Robert isn't, most actors are, in this Rose Theatre.
Yeah.
And which is why you're wearing the rose and hoping, as indeed we did a program mostly about Peggy Ashcroft and Athena Seiler. So we wish you luck with that. And I know you're committed to it. It's good to have you all. It's nice for you all to join us and celebrate the new Bond in this way. So
nice
thanks.
Thanks very much indeed, Terry.
Thank you all for coming. Good luck with the meeting. And as the captains, commanders, and the kings depart, I'll do the same. License to Kill is currently on show in London, but it'll be on release countrywide in a couple of weeks. And I'll be back here, leaning nonchalantly on the bar on Friday at 7 o'clock. See you then. Only joking, Cubby. I'm still available.